Welcome to Small Business Saturdays video series with your host and my husband.
And my dad, Aaron Montgomery.
Join the conversation.
Let's talk some business.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome into Small Business Saturdays. My name's Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me over at oursuccessgroup.com. Appreciate you guys tuning in here this morning with me on a beautiful Saturday. So I'm actually in a hotel room in Indianapolis, Indiana. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that all things go well. But so far, so good. The internet speed was really good. And we'll just see how we do this morning. So thanks for being here, everybody. Good morning to you, Curtis. Thanks for joining us here on the live broadcast. And let's see here. There we go. So today we're going to talk about believe, achieve, succeed. And this is a topic that I think is really important for us, because I guess let's start off with a question. So do you believe, and be honest with yourself, get deep into this. Do you believe that you have what it takes to be successful? Like deep down in your soul type belief, right? Do you believe that? And what I've learned is that having a positive answer to that question will determine the amount of success that you achieve. Right? We have to be able to believe in ourselves deeply enough that we push forward. We don't give up. We don't get frustrated. We do what it takes. We're willing to click the buttons, try the things out. We're willing to break a few things, all those types of deal, because we believe in ourselves. We believe in what we're trying to do. So, because, you guys are probably pretty familiar, the situation, Facebook, wherever your lives, right? We have to navigate the sea of negative people that are out there that just want to drag you into their space, right? They don't want anybody to go achieve their dreams, because then it would make them look bad because they aren't taking the steps they need to achieve their dreams, right? So, they want to constantly commiserate and try to figure out who's got it worse. And, those type of people, right? This constant never ending commiserating, all those types of stuff. But so what we have to do is we have to reignite our self-trust. We had self-trust at one point in our lives. Maybe for some of us, it kind of started going away when we were pretty young. And maybe for some of us, it started changing when we got a little bit older and whatnot. But when we were born, we had belief in ourselves. We knew what we wanted. We knew how to get what we wanted. We got up and we started walking, right? We wouldn't let anything stop us from that. And, we started living our lives, and we had a belief, but somewhere along the lines, that self-trust got extinguished a little bit. It got taken away from us a little bit. And not, again, these are our choices. So we made choices along the way, but it just is the way that it goes, right? It's never, very rarely is it out of like malicious situations that it happens. It actually is more about the people around us trying to protect us. And in that protection, we start losing that self-trust. And then, a thing happens, a mistake happens, a failure happens, and that internal voice starts turning on us until we wind up with this internal critic that then tells us things like, oh, I can't figure that out. Oh, technology is not easy for me. Or, I had that internal critic telling me that I could not pronounce names. Am I great at it yet? I haven't gotten there yet. I don't believe in myself enough in it. But when I believe that I can say the person's name right, then I get it right. But when I start doubting myself, that's when I have the most trouble. So those types of things. So we have to kind of have that self-trust or belief that we can achieve the goals that we set for ourselves. And once we start having that belief, I kind of look at it like, if we're building a money tree, and you guys know that I'm writing my book, the fundamentals of business success, and the idea is growing a money tree, the cycle of that process to plan, and perform. And so this step right here, this reignite self-trust, this thing that we're talking about today, believe, achieve, succeed, is kind of like the fertilizer, right? It allows that growth to happen. It allows that protection from the negativity that might come in from outside sources. And so it's really valuable for us. It's really important for us to have to be successful. But here's the thing. This only works. You can only rebuild this if you have an open mind and are willing to try new things, right? We have to go into trying new things with an assumption that it's going to work. Quick example for me in my own life is you guys, some of you may have gone through the Unlocking Your Potential workshop with me, or maybe heard this story before, but there's this meditative process. It's what we do in the Unlock Your Potential. We go through this so we can kind of dig into where those limiting beliefs are coming from, and then start installing new, more self-trust based beliefs in ourselves. But that only happens when you open your mind. I spent 2-3 years going, oh, this is stupid. This isn't going to work. And guess what? It was stupid and it didn't work. Right. And the moment that I let go of that I said, what if this does work? What if I did play full out and said, let me try this, right? And not everything's going to work for you. You've got to find what works for you. And we'll talk about some of those things here in a little bit. So you have to play full out. And that's the most important part, I think, is we have to play full out. What I want to do is I want to start off with a quick video from my mentor, Jack Canfield here, and let him talk to us a little bit about this all first. And then let's come back and break it down.
Hi there, I'm Jack Canfield, and I have a question for you. Do you believe you have what it takes to achieve your goals? As Henry Ford once said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So you may as well believe that you can. And today, I'd like to make that easier for you by sharing some very helpful tips on how to cultivate the unshakable self-esteem that you'll need to believe in yourself and stay motivated to pursue your dreams. During our Breakthrough to Success event this past spring, we asked the 500 plus participants what their biggest obstacles to success were. And the answer was almost always the same. It was their mindset. They didn't believe in themselves. They were afraid of failure. They were still caught in the grip of old hurts, struggling with feelings of bitterness, anger, and regret. They didn't think they were worthy or deserved the success they dreamed of. And even though they understood this about themselves and realized that they were their own biggest enemy, they still felt like they were somehow powerless to do anything about it. Well, I'm going to tell you the same liberating truth bomb I told them. You are the only one in the world who does have the power to do anything about it. Because if there is one unarguable truth about the universe, it's this: our thoughts create our reality. Our minds are the only tool through which we're able to perceive the world around us. And everything we experience in life is filtered through our minds. So if you can learn how to think better thoughts, you will experience a better reality, no matter what is going on in the world around you. But the thing about our thoughts is they often feel entirely out of our control. And that's because, in many ways, they are. You can't really stop the ceaseless flow of thoughts that stream across your consciousness. But what you can do is choose which thoughts to listen to. As Byron Katie says in her book, Loving What Is, and I quote, "A thought is harmless unless we believe it. It's not our thoughts, but our attachment to our thoughts that causes suffering," unquote. Now, when we invest our energy and attention in thoughts that cause us harm, we suffer. So what we have to do is learn how to recognize when we are thinking thoughts that harm us, and then detach ourselves from that thought and choose to focus on a better thought that will have a more positive impact on our lives. Now, because the reality is, at any given instant, there are a million different ways to interpret what's happening in the world, and a million possible things you could think in that moment. For example, if your spouse often leaves for work in the mornings without remembering to kiss you goodbye, you could choose to interpret this as a sign they don't care about you or they aren't attracted to you anymore. Or you could consider the fact that your spouse has been working on a really important project and is probably tired and preoccupied, and their behavior has nothing to do with you at all. And how you choose to interpret any situation, the thoughts you choose to think about it, the meaning you choose to give it, that's always up to you. And if you choose to believe, for example, that the universe is fundamentally good and that you have the capacity to achieve your goals, guess what? That belief will come true for you. I, for one, have chosen to become an inverse paranoid. I choose to believe the universe is always acting in my favor, that the world is always plotting to do me good, even though it may not be apparent at the moment. For example, while the COVID-19 pandemic was certainly challenging for me and my business at the beginning, it has shown me that we can reach more people with less travel and less expense through using the internet and Zoom more effectively. And that has led to a much less demanding lifestyle for me and more time to focus on my health and my family. So how do you learn how to think better thoughts and learn to believe in yourself? Well, the first step is to become more aware of your thoughts so you can gain more clarity into the ideas that are streaming constantly through your head and the effect that they're having on your life. And the best way to do that is through meditation. You see, meditation makes it easier for you to notice your thoughts as they arise in your mind, and you become then aware of how they make you feel at that moment. And the more you begin to notice your thoughts and their impact on you, the more that you'll realize that many of your thoughts are causing you stress, and that many of them aren't true. Here's how you can test this for yourself. Try paying a close attention to your thoughts for an entire day, and notice how many times you find yourself thinking things you know aren't true, or that you can't absolutely for sure know are true. Maybe you're imagining yourself having a conversation with someone that has never actually happened in real life. Or maybe you're envisioning a future event that has not happened yet and probably never will. Or maybe a thought spontaneously comes to mind that has absolutely no real basis in reality. Just begin noticing how often that happens and realize this. Just because you think it, it doesn't mean it's true. And here's the kicker. You know those negative thoughts that you think about yourself, the ones that say, I'm not good enough, I'm not attractive enough, I'm not smart enough or skilled enough or educated enough, I'm not connected enough, I'm never lucky, I'm not worthy enough to get what I want? Well, they're not true either. You can think the exact opposite of almost any thought and find just as much proof to establish that the opposite has just as much truth to it and even more than the original thought. Now, once you realize that, it becomes so much easier for you to detach yourself from the negative thoughts that are causing you suffering and choose to believe in more positive, empowering thoughts instead. And just like that, your life will start to become more beautiful, more loving, more magical, and more joyous. And yes, it really is that simple and that challenging, because to experience the benefits of meditation, you really have to commit to it. Meditation isn't a once-in-a-while thing. To experience the benefits, you need to sit down and do it every day. Consistency is far more important than the length of time you sit in meditation. It's better to do it for 10 minutes every single day than to do it for 30 minutes just a couple times a week. And you have to understand that mindfulness meditation isn't about stopping your thoughts. It's about allowing them to flow as they always have and simply observing them, but not attaching to them. This is what allows you to remain unmoved and unaffected when those negative thoughts arise in your head. You can see them bubbling up to the surface and you can think, oh, hey, there's another one of those thoughts that have no basis in reality. And then just allow it to continue flowing on down the stream without taking you with it. And that's how you detach yourself from negative thoughts. Now let's talk about how you replace them with empowering thoughts about your own capacity to achieve anything you can imagine. And the best way to think more empowering thoughts is to pursue more empowering experiences. Start seeking out new challenges that will challenge you to stretch beyond your comfort zone and learn new skills that will help you get a deeper appreciation of what you truly are capable of achieving, which, as I've said, is pretty much anything you can imagine. Now, when you take small risks and succeed at them, you prove to yourself that you are someone who can take risks and not only survive them, but thrive and grow as a result of them. And the more you understand this, the more you'll be inspired to take even bigger risks and continue to expand your understanding of your own potential. So even when you stumble and fall at times, which is inevitable on your journey through life, you will know that you can easily get back up, shake yourself off, and dive back into it. And this is what creates an unshakable belief in yourself and will help you stay motivated as you work toward your goals and dreams in life. The unyielding belief that if you keep taking steps in the right direction, you will achieve your goals. So the next time you find yourself thinking something like, I can't do this, or I'm so stupid, or I'll probably fail, remember these thoughts aren't true, and replace them with positive statements that reflect the truth. Thoughts like, I can do this. I can learn anything I set my mind to. And I will succeed no matter what, because any failure I experience is a stepping stone that will bring me closer to my dreams. As Byron Katie says, and I quote, "The worst that can happen and the best that can happen are the same event," unquote. Now, how you choose to experience them is up to you. Events can never hurt you. Only your thoughts about events can hurt you. Other people can't hurt you. Only your thoughts about them and their behavior can. And when you have an unshakable belief in yourself and choose to focus on thinking positive thoughts that empower you and help you stay motivated, you're going to be amazed at how wonderful your life will become and how effortless it will be for you to achieve your goals and experience a deep state of joy, abundance, and fulfillment. And here's one last thought, something that I just learned a couple of months ago and have been using in my life. Now, you may have heard me in a previous video talk about using the phrase cancel, cancel when you hear yourself thinking or speaking a negative thought. Now, as soon as you're aware of it, you just say the words cancel, cancel. Say it out loud if you can, and then think or speak the opposite positive thought. We call this a pattern interrupt that over time will help you eliminate the negative and replace it with the positive. Now, here's the new part. Take about 10 little Post-its, those little sticky notes, and stick them in places around your house or office where you'll see them, like on the bathroom mirror, the refrigerator, on the closet door that you open all the time, at the bottom of the landing of your stairs that you go down every day, next to your computer, on the dashboard of your car, maybe opposite the toilet in your bathroom, and so on. And every time you see one, just take a second to notice, what are you thinking? And if it's negative, replace it with the positive, opposite, better feeling thought. And if you find that you're thinking the same negative thought a lot, create an affirmation for the positive thought and make sure to practice repeating it several times throughout the day, or at the end of your affirmations and visualization practice in the morning. Now, if you're willing, please leave a comment below and share one thing you plan to do this week to cultivate a deeper, more unshakable belief in yourself. Maybe you'll challenge yourself to notice your thoughts for a whole day. Maybe it's finally time for you to implement a daily meditation practice. Or maybe you'll take a small, doable risk that will help empower you in some way. And once you've decided what that is, I encourage you to share it in the comments below. And when you write your intentions down and when you make them public, which is what I'm asking you to do, you give them power. Now, I can't wait to see how you plan to empower yourself.
What I want to do is unpack it. Really, here's the interesting part. Here's the thing that is really important in my mind for small business owners is that we need to release the brakes, right? That's where a lot of this comes from. It's actually a success principle. It's number 10, release the brakes. Because that self-doubt, that negativity that we have internally is like trying to drive a car with the emergency brake on, right? You can't just push down on the gas harder. That's how that's what we think to do is we go, okay, I think of this negative thought, or I don't have this belief yet, but I'm just going to power through. I'm going to let willpower power me through. But the counterintuitive thing to do that we need to do instead is to stop, take time, do the things that Jack was just talking about there, where we intentionally set up ways to recognize, accept. Byron Katie's Loving What Is. If you have not read that book, it is a totally different, unique view, perspective. It's not right for everybody. It was a little hard for me to kind of take in at first, but boy, if you can again be open-minded to it and say, what if this does work, right? I don't follow exactly her strategy or the way that she goes about it and all that other stuff, but that perception change of like Jack talked about there, that whether or not whatever the thought is or whatever the situation is, it is, right? It is our thoughts and how we handle those thoughts that is really kind of an eye-opener for us. So what we need to do, instead of just trying to push down on the gas harder, so to speak, is we need the counterintuitive thing is we need to stop. We need to create ways with the meditation, surviving risks, replacing affirmations. Those are some of the things that came up there. So we can't just hustle, grind. We have to let go of those negative thoughts and install new ones. So like I said, I want to break down a little bit of what he was talking about there and share. Yeah, Jerry said most of it. Okay, excellent. Thank you. And share a little bit about what my takes are. And then hopefully you guys can tell me what you're thinking as well. So the first part of it was the fact that we need to choose E plus R equals O. We need to choose 100% responsibility. When we've given away our power, when we put the blame on something else or something else, we no longer have the ability to make these changes, right? So, and the rest of these things we're going to talk about will not work unless we go, you know what? I need to take back my power by taking back my responsibility and saying everything that has happened, everything that is happening is all based on the choices that I've made. And that's hard to do, especially if you're in a situation that seems pretty unfair. Seems like the world's kind of dumped on you. And the reality is those forces will show up, right? And unfair things will happen to us. And, so it's not to say that I have no empathy for people that are having challenging situations. I have lots of empathy for people that are having challenging situations. I'd love to show up and support them, but I can't help and support unless somebody asks me, right? I'm not a brain reader. So that's where they need to take their side of the responsibility and say, okay, here's what I need help with. And then I can say, hey, can I help you or can I not, right? But we have to then invest in ourselves, and we have to show up. We have to take the action. And that's where it comes back into taking responsibility. Yes, this terrible thing could have happened to us. Maybe there was a car accident. Maybe there was a health situation or something like that. All these things, I completely am empathetic towards that. And I love people and love to be able to help them. But they have to start taking actions for themselves, right? I can't make those choices for them. You can't make those choices for other people. So sometimes just letting them go, letting them work through the wallowing, but being there to support them when they're ready for it is what the thing is to do. But taking that 100% responsibility back, though, is where all this starts. So first we have to commit to that and realize that we can change. We can get better at technology. We can learn to pronounce people's last names. We can build the business of our dreams, right? Once we start taking those choices back, then we start having the ability to now make some of these other more counterintuitive decisions. So that's number one. The second thing that I want to unpack here a little bit was the next part where he started talking about meditation. So I'm curious, to those of you watching the live version here, how many people actively, like he said, consistently have some sort of a meditation practice, some sort of a way that, you just can build an ability to manage your own thoughts, right? And that, like I said, is a meditation practice. I've not been a very good meditator. I tend to kind of I don't know, I've got, me, the squirrel brain, right? Chasing everything around, right? But those are the choices that I'm making. So now I'm working on trying to find ways that I can consistently do that, right? And so one of the things that I just realized after I've had this around, but I just started a new Zentangle here as a way to go, you know what? Because when I'm focused on trying to make the lines kind of right and fill in the little areas, and I just started with this morning as the start of, and this is only about 3 to 4 minutes that I'm doing it. But while I'm doing that, then I seem to have much more control over my mind. The thoughts that normally come in that then take me away and then get me into doing something else right away is the challenge. It has been challenging for me, but I know I need to make different choices. So I'm trying new things, right? So what is it that you can do to install some sort of a meditative practice each day, right? And it doesn't have to be what happens for a lot of us is we get this idea in our head of what meditation is, right? That I have to sit cross-legged and Zen Buddha and, completely float in midair, right? What it is for you is going to be completely unique for you, but you have to get to a place where you can let all those thoughts that just come in, let them in, accept them, and then let them go, right? What happens to us is we're not able to let those thoughts go, and they eat at us, right? And they just keep eating, and they get more negative and more negative and more negative. So we let the thought in, we welcome it, we say whatever. So for me, like I said, the way to kind of help myself focus better was to add something like this. But maybe for you, it's doing yoga, right? That opportunity to do that, and the focus of trying to get the poses right, and listening to your body and all that stuff. So like Christy here says, and I don't know if it'll come up, and so I don't want to mess with the computer while we've got some things here, but she says, I use tapping and rise and stride yoga. Anything, little thing that you can do helps, right? Yeah, it's awesome. And so that's the first thing. I think that's the first thing that we need to do, is find what works for us to, be our way to escape it. Tapping's a great tool for sure. And then Christy is a member of the Rise and Shine Yoga. So if you want to check that out, riseshine.yoga. That is an awesome opportunity if you want to try something new, right? Even if you don't think yoga is for you, why not give it a try, right? See, right? It could be an experience. I honestly didn't think that Zentangles was right for me. I had this belief that I couldn't draw. I'm not saying that I'm going to go out and become an artist or a painter, and that anybody actually is going to pay money for my art. That's not where I'm heading with it. But I believe that I have that creativity. I believe I have enough focus that I can make something that I'm proud of, right? And in that process of making that thing that I'm proud of, I'm using that as a meditation. I will go with some guided meditations. There's apps out there that you can use, like Calm or different things like that. So yeah, finding what works for you. So that's number one, figuring out that meditation. The second thing that I wanted to kind of talk about and highlight that Jack had said there was kind of replacing those beliefs, right? What's the way to do that? Now, I'm going to see if I can do this without messing things up here. There, I'm going to put that up there. You can kind of see it, but if you go to oursuccessgroup.com/unlock, unlocking limiting beliefs, we've got another one coming up next Wednesday. No, I can't remember what day it is now. Shoot, I had it, and see that I didn't believe in myself. So now I got to go to my crutch here. 13th, yeah, 13th. So a week from today, at 4 p.m. Central Time, we have our next Unlock Your Potential, right? And the whole process there is to find out where these limiting beliefs came from, and then start installing new ones. See if we can figure out a way to internally start installing new ones. And I don't know if he said this specifically in this video. I can't remember exactly. I remember a lot of the things that Jack says, so they kind of like feel like they're cycling all the time in my head. But this one always stands out to me too. And when he says this, he says that you can only survive a risk, you can only gain self-confidence by surviving a risk, right? So taking action. Jerry talked about in his comment here, taking his action is what I will continue to do. Slow but steady. Absolutely. So just keep taking action, keep building off of the things, amplifying what works, and avoiding or, making adjustments from what you learned from the things that didn't work exactly as you thought, right? So it's all about kind of surviving that risk. So take action, and keep moving forward. All right. So the third thing is, I love the cancel thing. In fact, I was in a mastermind group that I was leading, and Jack happened to be in the room with us. So always a little bit of a whoa experience at first, right? To go, okay, Jack has asked me to lead one of his mastermind groups that those people pay a substantial amount of money to be there. So he believes in me enough that I know how to lead a proper mastermind. And so there's that. And so he's asked me to do that. But then to be in a room where he's also in the room with us can be a little nerve-wracking at first. But the feedback I got from both Jack and the other people in the room was that I did a very good job, right? So I survived that risk. But as we were talking about some things, he brought that up again, the cancel. And if you think about that, right? So the next time that you have that thought, like, I can't do this, or, oh, you're so stupid. Gosh, why would you make this mistake? I'm bad at technology. I can't, right? And any of those things show up, any of those negative thoughts show up. If you can recognize them, try to recognize them, because you will after time, you will recognize it, because at a certain point, you're going to be wallowing in it so long that it's going to be like obvious to you. So try recognizing that. The more that you work on recognizing those thoughts, the better you're going to get at it, right? Like everything, with practice, we get better at it. And when you recognize that, in that moment, just say cancel. And like Jack said, even if you can say it out loud, that's even better, because it's jolting, right? Cancel. What? Right? And so you say cancel. And then you say, so I'll use my thought about, I can't pronounce names appropriately. I worry about that, right? So if I'm like, I can't do it. I go, cancel. You can do it. Ask them, help them, and let them know that it's important to you that you get their name right, because you value their name, right? That's their name. It's important to them, right? It's kind of like when I go to a coffee shop and they say, oh, what's the name? And I give them my name, Aaron, and they write ERIN. Is it that big of a deal? No, not really. But does it kind of like hurt a little bit? Yeah. So if I was a barista and I wanted to make sure that my customers really knew that I cared about them, I could say, go, okay, and ask for a name. And somebody says Aaron. And then you go, okay, is that spelled AARON? And then spell it for them, right? Right? So it's that kind of thing. So once you start believing that, then you say cancel. And then you say, I can do this. And here's how I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to try. I'm going to survive that risk. And then the other thing that he talked about a little bit with the Post-it notes, but he went a little deeper in the mastermind that I wanted to share with you guys, is take some of those affirmations or some things that you want to change, and take a Post-it note, just get a color, and write on that Post-it note what it is. And then put those in areas where it's private to you, or really, you're only going to see it maybe just on your computer or something like that. But then in more public places where you're like, I don't really want to be, putting that out there or whatever, you can take that same colored Post-it note and just put a blank Post-it note. And that, like he said, that's that reminder to say, okay, what's the positive thought? So that's number 3. And then the 4th thing are affirmations. So I'm curious, if you're tuned in live here, do you have affirmations? Do you have things that you tell yourself? So I'm just going to say it so you can grab it. But if you haven't gotten the affirmations guide that I have, I would highly encourage you to do that. If you just go to oursuccessgroup.com/block, BLOCK, you can put your information in there and get a copy of the affirmations guide. What that has is it shows you how to create your own affirmations, and then it has a whole bunch of examples. In fact, it gives you a whole bunch of like ones that you can use for different areas of your life. And it's a pretty complete guide on affirmations. So check that out. But see if I can grab mine here. So I'm in the process of actually kind of rewriting some of mine, because okay, it's time to adjust, right? You get the feedback and then you make adjustments. But let me just share a couple of mine with you real quick here. I'm delighted to be encouraging 100 or more OSG squad members. I'm feeling blessed by strengthening 10 or more MOS members. And that was a goal. Guess what? We have 10 members in Masters of Success right now. We're looking for more, right? We're gonna make an additional group, right? So I'm gonna adjust that. We're gonna say 20. We're gonna say 15. Whatever. I have to kind of figure out where I want to go. But there are other ones that we can do. Is that I'm so happy and grateful that money comes to me easily and that I can use it for the greater good, right? So just feeling those things. What areas are you stuck? And then make the opposite affirmation about that, and then be sharing those things. So that's what I've got. Those are the things that I wanted to unpack. If there was anything else, but let's just regroup and make sure you got them all. So number 1, some sort of a meditative practice where you can allow thoughts to come in and then practice releasing them, letting them go. Because the better we get at that, the better we can get at, oh God, I can't do this. Thank you for that thought. Thank you for making sure that I am am aware that I need to pay attention and I really need to focus and do a good job here, but I'm going to let you go because I know that that's not true. I can do this, right? So that finding that meditative practice that allows you to get better at that. Secondly, just be taking action, survive that risk, try something new, learn from it, amplify the things that are working, and let go of the things that aren't. Number 3 is that replace, using the cancel, right? Negative thought shows up in your mind, cancel, new and better thought, just that conscious replacement of that new and better thought will then start making the subconscious take on those thoughts instead of the previous one that it thought, right? Christy, need more coffee. No problem. I thought coffee was a good comment. It actually fit, I thought. All right. And then number 4 are using affirmations, some way, shape, or form for you to have an affirmation that works, that you can then start building upon those and allowing those to be the thoughts that come in. And Jerry says, I know I can do this. And Jerry, I know you can do it too. And so just keep replacing that thought. Every time the thought shows up that says, I don't know if I can do this, right? I mean, heck, I'm 48 years old this year, and there are thoughts that creep in and go, you passed your prime, Aaron. Can you do this, right? I know the things that I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to come into an industry that it typically has not really given much thought to the foundations, because of the fact that it's such a low barrier of entry that we turn over new businesses in this industry so often that the people that kind of run the industries, the manufacturers, the suppliers, and things like that, they don't, it's not a negative thing. I'm not saying they don't care, like they're mean. They're trying to train new people, right? So they're going to sell the shiny objects. So they're going to do all that. I can't, in the 22 years that I've been in this industry, I've never seen anybody try to do what I'm trying to do here. And so I know that's going to take a lot of energy. I know that's going to take a lot of effort. And I wonder, I go, gosh, do I have what it takes? Right. And so if I can be like Jerry here and say, I know I can do this, then I do better and I do more, and it flows. Right. So it's just opening up those blocks, removing those blocks, allowing this to flow. So that's what the affirmations can do for you. You're replacing those things. So one more time through them real quickly. Meditation, to be able to manage our thoughts. Secondly is just taking action, surviving those risks, and then using those. Number 3 is the cancel, replacing the thoughts. And number 4 is affirmations. So that's how you can believe, achieve, and succeed. So there we go. That's what I've got for you guys today. Thank you for putting up with the challenges with the internet at the front. I knew trying to play a video from a hotel connection might be a little tough, but I will also make sure that you guys have a link to that video if you want to go watch the full thing without it being so chunky. I did put it in some of the comments, but I'll try to make sure that I get it in all the spaces and places. All right. All right, you guys, have a great rest of your Saturday, and I will talk to everybody again very, very soon.